Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Courtney. I am a Gen X stay-at-home mom, housewife, and aspiring author. And here on my YouTube channel, I vlog and I make other lifestyle videos and share little bits and pieces of my middle-aged life. So if that sounds interesting to you, I would love for you to click the subscribe button down below. So I'm not exactly sure how this video is going to end up because I've never made a video like this before. And I'm not exactly sure, like, in the end, how I want to, like, film everything and piece it together. But I did want to come on and give this little intro. So the video today really is about goal planning and goal setting for next year. I have, for most of my adult life, not really been a goal planner, and that's because my job and like my labor, both emotional and physical, was really raising my children and taking care of the house. And there's not, so there weren't any like specific goals that I set in terms of that part of my life. I mean, of course, I've had like resolutions for the new year, like, oh, spend more time with my family, lose weight, stick to a meal plan, like all of those kinds of things that people generally think about at the start of a new year. And then a few years ago, I started choosing like one little word, doing word of the year, and kind of picking a word I thought would um, encapsulate what I wanted to focus on for for that year. And so that was sort of helpful in helping me um, not necessarily set goals, but to live more intentionally, I think. Last year, my word was progress, and I really wanted to focus on making progress in some of my relationships, developing like closer relationships with my family, maintaining relationships with friends. I wanted to make more progress um, in in moving through my grief over the loss of my mom and kind of navigating that in a healthier way. I wanted to make progress on just like my body image and how I feel about myself and those sort of internal monologues that run through my head about myself. Um, I think my word of the year before that was, I don't even remember. I'd have to go back and look. I know one year it was like movement. Um, one year it was, I'm not sure. Um, but anyway, so those really kind of helped me, I guess, move more into like a mindset where I was kind of open to thinking about goals and planning things for my future. So choosing a word of the year really helped kind of transition me into like a headspace where I was thinking more about setting specific goals and having more specific ideas about my future. And so last year was the first year that I really tried to do that. And that is because I am an aspiring author. And so I had really been trying to come up with like a clear plan and have clear goals for publishing. And so I had some sort of long range goals for last year that I tried to break down into like quarterly plans, and it was my first experience attempting to do that. Did I I did sort of reach some of those goals. A lot of them I did not. Um, so I think around August or September, I really started to think about goal setting a little bit more. I started kind of mulling over what I wanted my word for 2023 to be and kind of brainstorming just really some thoughts, like journaling some thoughts about what I wanted my 2023 to look like and what things I felt were really important for me to include. So that sort of led me down the rabbit hole of watching goal setting videos on YouTube. I found lots of people who were using like Power Sheets and the Maxi Life system. Power Sheets is not, it was something that I had been previously interested in. It's not a product that I personally would support anymore. I did have interest in the Maxi Life um, goal setting system. I watched a ton. I think I watched all of the videos from Taylor at Tattoo Teacher Plans. I've been watching videos from Lindsay on My Crafty Plans, kind of seeing how they use the Maxi Life. I hope I'm saying that, or is it Moxie Life? I think it's Moxie Life. How they use it and how they use it to break down their goals. I watched some goal setting videos from Sarah Cannon, who has her own product. It's called like the HB90 method, and it is really like a goal um, planning system. She created it for indie authors. And so I went back and watched some of her videos. And Sarah has she has like a really good sort of resource library that you can have access to if you sign up for her newsletter. Moxie Life also has a ton of free resources available on their website, which I downloaded all of them and used those as a jumping off point. At the end of the day, I felt like the Moxie system for me, um, ju- just kind of starting out and this being my first year, it felt a little bit overwhelming for me. Um, and then I found another YouTuber. Her channel really focuses on like functional planning. Her name is Kristen. I think, hang on, I know I wrote it down. Her name is Kristen Krimmer, I believe. I will link like all of the people that I'm mentioning down below. And I think that she had used Moxie Life in the past, or maybe Power Sheets in the past. I can't remember. But this, for the upcoming year, she is sort of cobbling together her own like way of goal setting. And that really appealed to me because it let me focus on things that I really feel like I need to focus on. And then I also ended up reading, well, I listened to the audiobook for the 12-week year. So, what I'm doing for 2023 is kind of a patchwork of a little bit of all of these systems. I really learned about the Kanban board and using a Kanban board, especially for writing projects from Sarah Cannon. So I'm incorporating that bit into my system. I did some of the I don't even know, review. God, I couldn't think of the word of the review process that you go through with the Moxie Life system using some of like the prompts and the questions. They also have like great prompts on their Instagram and the worksheets that you can kind of print out for free on their website. I used, and so I basically came up with the categories that I want to focus on in terms of setting goals for the entirety of 2023. And then I broke that down into the goals that I'm interested in focusing on in my first 12-week year. So when you hear the 12-week year, you may say, isn't that just like quarterly planning? A quarter is 12, a quarter a year is 12 weeks. And it is, and it isn't. It is in terms of it's 12 weeks just like a quarter would be. It isn't in the fact that you can start a 12-week year anytime you want to. I'm choosing to start it at the beginning of a new year. But you could decide to start a 12-week year in June if you wanted. Um, and really the key to that it's more of a methodology than it is an actual system. A lot of it has to do with the mindset of the 12-week year. And I hate like saying things like mindset. I don't know. It just feels really like guru-y to me. It feels very Dave Hollis, and that makes me uncomfortable. But it really is a mindset where you go from annualized thinking. So when you set goals for an entire year, what happens is most people tend to start off really strong, and then somewhere around the 6 week mark, they kind of fall. They slack off a little bit on what they're trying to do. And they allow themselves to do this by saying, well, I've still got the whole rest of the year. And then it's June, and you say, well, I've still got 6 months. And then, it's September, and you say, well, I still have a few more months that I could kind of squeak by. And you never end up either it just kind of whatever you're trying to accomplish kind of gets pushed to the bottom of the list of priorities, or you do it but you never really do it with all of the energy and the focus that you could if you limited the scope of your focus. And that is also really in the 12-week year. They talk a lot about how we seek to have balance in life all the time, but it is impossible to have all the areas of your life in perfect balance at all times. So um, there's a benefit really in being out of balance, like being how did they word it? I'm sorry. I feel like ever since I don't know if it's like long COVID memory loss, if it's like premenopausal me- memory loss, or if it's like depression memory loss. It's being purposely out of balance is the term that I was looking for. So you really pick goals for that 12-week year to focus on, knowing that the rest of your life is going to be out of balance, but it's only going to be out of balance for that 12 weeks. And I know that there have been some things that I have like struggled with in my life, even as like a labor coach for my daughters when they were having my grandchildren, and telling them, as they're kind of going through contractions and breathing through contractions, that Let's not think about, the rest of the day or the rest of the night or however long you're going to be in labor. Let's just focus on this one contract. Let's just focus on this 5 minutes, right? You can do anything for 5 minutes. So we're going to breathe through it for 5 minutes, and then we're going to pause, and then we'll think about the next 5 minutes. But we're only going to allow ourselves to think about being in pain for this 5 minutes, like right now. And so that is kind of what I'm taking from the being intentionally out of balance. I can be out of balance for 12 weeks because you have a starting point and an ending point. And there's something about the way that the brain functions, knowing that there's an end to it. I also remember talking to my daughter when she was going through basic training, and I, of course, was, terrified. She's my baby. She's a tiny girl, she's 5 foot tall and weighed 105 pounds soaking wet, and she joined the Navy and she was in basic training. And in my brain, all I'm seeing is, all of these movies, A Few Good Men, and, whatever Hollywood says drill instructors are like. And I kept thinking, oh my God, my baby. Like, I was just terrified for her. And I remember when she finally, I can't remember how long they're not allowed to call home, maybe the first couple of weeks. But I remember when the first time we could finally talk to her, and I was really like kind of struggling to contain my emotions. I didn't want to get upset because I knew if I got upset, she would get upset. So I was really trying to kind of hold back what I was really feeling. But, I was saying, like, are you okay? Can you do this? And I remember her saying, Mom, it's just, I can't even remember how long, but like, I feel like it was a traumatic experience for me. So as a trauma response, I've like blocked out most of it. I don't even remember how long it was, but I remember her saying, like, it's 8 weeks. I can get through 8 weeks. So I think that that works with the 12-week year, with me knowing that I'm really going to hit it for 12 weeks. And then the idea is you do your 12-week year, you assess how you did, make changes and shifts if you need to whatever the goal is, or um, your the things that whether it's like the habits that you've tried to establish to make your goal easier to accomplish, the tactics is what they call it, that you have used to make sure that you really nail what it is you're trying to do. And then you can take a week or two off, and then you start your next 12-week year. So that is kind of what I'm attempting to do. I think I'm going to flip the camera down and kind of walk you through a little bit of my process. I hope that it's, I don't even know if this came out in a non-rambly, somewhat logical fashion. But I hope by kind of showing you a little bit of what I am trying to do, it will be a little bit more clear. So if you're interested in seeing exactly what my goals are going to be for my first 12-week year and what I am intending to do, to try to help myself accomplish these goals in the 12-week year, then that is what we're going to do now. So, the first thing I did was to kind of start thinking about my word of the year, and I was really debating between two words, embrace or emerge. And this is kind of the definition and me really trying to think about what I wanted for the year. Ultimately, I decided to go with embrace because I feel like that really encompasses a lot of the, I guess, intentions I have for this year. And then I kind of went through, and this, I believe, is from the Moxie Life worksheets, and I just kind of wrote them out in this journal, and this is just a dot grid notebook from Michael's. So just what I could use more of, what I could use less of, things that I want to nurture, habits I want to develop, all of those sorts of things. And then these are just kind of some notes that I took on the 12-week year that kind of help me figure out what I wanted to do. And they really want you to go through the work of trying to figure out like what your overarching goal is and vision for your life, really. So I did a little bit of mind mapping about kind of what I want my life to look like. I kind of was planning out my ideal day, and then this is where I started breaking down specific goals for the entire year. I did kind of do the Moxie Life thing of breaking them down into categories and kind of assigning them a color, just because that is a super helpful way to keep things organized, like in your mind, or at least my mind. So just goals for writing, some financial goals, goals for blog and social media, health and wellness, home and family, and then personal. And then this is really where I started breaking down what I wanted my 12-week year to look like. So my goal for my 12-week year is to finish my book and publish it. So the publishing date that I have chosen is right after my first 12-week year ends. So doing the prep work for all of that is what I'm wanting to do in those 12 weeks. And that includes finishing my manuscript, sending it off to beta readers, making edits, sending it off to the editor, getting my cover designer the info, like all of that. And then part of having a successful launch for the book is really integrating that with my other social media. So I do have a blog. I want to set up a newsletter so that I can send out information on my writing, things like when the book is available for pre-order, any kind of behind the scenes information as I'm leading up to the publishing date, that sort of thing. The other thing that I really wanted to work on in this 12-week year was getting more consistent and specific about my YouTube channels. So I have some goals for that. Mostly it's like consistency and a batch filming and content creation kind of goals. And then I have some health and wellness goals that I want to work on for the entire year. There will always be something health and wellness related in my 12-week year. And then these are, so you basically assign tasks to specific weeks in the 12-week year. And this is, I've done some work kind of breaking it down. And then week 1, these are the things that I wanted to accomplish in my first week, which is adding 10,000 words to my manuscript. I need to re-outline the 3rd act. I need to get my website back up and running. I need to set up like a newsletter sign up kind of pop-up thing. So I want to do 3 strength workouts and 2 cardio workouts. I need to lose about 20 to 25 pounds. So I'd like to lose 5 pounds in this 12 weeks. So I need to track my calories and my points. These are some of they call them tactics, but they're basically like habits that help you achieve the things that you want to do in the 12-week year. So I've done that, and then I have set up a Kanban board to help, and I'm not exact, so I have some like specific things or some tasks that are broken down very like granularly, and then some that are just kind of broader things. I'm not sure which one is going to work. So I will reevaluate, after the 4 weeks in January and kind of figure out how to break those tasks down on my Kanban board for February. So I only have like a month of tasks up at one time because my whiteboard isn't that big. I probably could have ordered a bigger one, but I wasn't exactly sure what I needed. This I got off of Amazon. I will leave it linked down below if you're interested. But yeah, so this is what I am doing for my helping me set and kind of achieve some very specific goals in 2023. I plan on updating. So if you are interested or found this video helpful or want to see more information about this, then I would love for you to click the subscribe button down below and turn on your notifications so you know when I post new videos. But thank you for joining me for this one, and I will see you in my next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.